Welcome to Sewing for Men. Roll the pre-roll. If you're watching this video, the odds are you just bought your first sewing machine. Now, I hope you know how to use it at least somewhat, or have an idea on how to use it. Because in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a drawstring bag. Now, you should already have an idea of how to use the schematics on top of your sewing machine to thread the thread through the machine and into the eye of the needle. You will also need to know how to wind your own bobbin, which is what we're doing right here in this video that you're watching right now. There it goes. That might be the coolest aspect of this machine, is that it winds bobbins like that so quickly. You should also have some basic thread work under your hands, under your belt. Simply, if you don't, grab some cabbage, some spare scrap fabric, fold it up, and just go through some of the stitches on your machine wheel, the different stitch pattern, and get comfortable just going forwards, backwards, forward again, and then back stitching and cutting the thread with a few different patterns. Today we'll be using the straight stitch to make the drawstring bag. You can make it in any size. Today I'll be making it for my sunglasses. So grab your sewing machine, grab your cabbage, grab your sunglasses, and let's get ready to do some thread work, baby. Hello and welcome to Sewing for Men. I guess women could watch this too. It's really for everyone, but I just see so many channels dedicated to like making aprons or pot holders or stuff like that. So I thought it'd be pretty fun to make a sewing channel for men, make a sewing video. This won't be a channel, but what we're going to do today is we're going to make a holder for our sunglasses so they don't get all scruffed up, scraped up, dirty, filthy like mine are right now. What you will need for this is some fabric. This is a bed sheet. I got it from Goodwill. It was $5, but it was also the yellow tag sale that day, and this was a yellow tag. So it turned out to be $2.50 for a whole big bed sheet. And I would always like hang it up, look at it in the store, make sure there's no like stains or rips or tears or gross marks. Give it a wash, give it a tumble. You'll also need Paracord. If you don't have Paracord, buy Paracord and then buy some more Paracord. A shoelace will do, or anything similar to rope, like a thinner rope. And a lighter so we can melt the ends of the paracord so it doesn't fray. Alternatively, you can get an iron and an ironing board. I will be doing that off camera. It just helps to iron the fabric first, but it's not essential. What is essential is a sewing machine. You should also have one of those. Hopefully from the pre-roll, you learn how to set it up if you didn't know already, how to wind your bobbin, how to thread your thread and thread it into the needle, and how to set up the needle and bobbin thread together. So you should be all ready to rock and roll. And without further ado, let's get started. All right, so a few more items that you'll need. Well, one that you'll need is a pair of scissors. A good pair of scissors if you have them, fabric shears. If not, a regular pair of scissors will do. This is tailor's chalk. If you don't have tailor's chalk, you can use soap if you cut it thin, or just like a mechanical pencil or just a pencil to be able to mark on the fabric. Also, some pins will be helpful. But what we have here is the sunglasses that we will be using today, that I will be using today. I'm just going to put these right here. I'm just going to measure out this fabric a bit. So I'm just going to go right to here. And that's going to be more than enough. And I want to have extra. I'd much rather have more than less. Now, I will say with this particular piece of fabric that I have, which is often referred to as cabbage, just scraps of fabric you have, is I would like it to be a little longer than where it's at. We're gonna fold this over later, but ideally I would have a little more extra fabric here, so that way I just leave myself room to work, a margin of error. But I don't, so we're just gonna roll with what we got. I'll go ahead and fold this over and then mark this spot by just holding it. I'm gonna pull these glasses out, and I'll want to make sure that my corners are touching and square. Looks good. Looks good. I could take this over to the iron and iron it, but I just don't think that's necessary. I did iron the entire sheet before I started, so it should be a little easier for me to work with. Just cut that off and move it. And I might need to square up that little edge there at the end. Yeah. Grab these guys. All right, so now I have my fabric. And what I will do is I will iron this. So on your piece of fabric that is yay big, you should be able to put your sunglasses here now and roll them up and have this big extra sheet. That's actually a little much, but it's fine to have more. I will then take the edge, and this was already sewn. So if it's not already sewn, it's no big deal. Just fold it over. If you have a piece of fabric like I had that had a seam, this would be the place to have it at the top. I'm just gonna fold this over like that. I'm gonna take it to the ironing board and I'm just gonna iron it. Just like that. So I'll be right back. So I've got my fabric back. I've folded it over and ironed it flat, so that way it stays the way I want to sew it more easily. And then one thing I wanted to point at before we started is I went to ChatGPT and I looked up the tension, which is here. I looked up the width and I looked up the length for a bed sheet, and it said 2.5 length, 0 width, and 4 to 5 tension. And I will do that a lot whenever I'm sewing, is I'll just ask ChatGPT, hey, for this fabric that I'm sewing, what tension, width, and length do I need? I'm gonna set this up so you can see as well as you can. There we go. To get started, now that I have my fabric ready, my machine set, and my threads threaded, is I'm gonna go to the back of the machine, and there should be that lever to lift the feed dogs right here. I will then take my fabric, run it underneath, and I'm gonna set my needle to the left like that. I'm gonna align this edge with the side of my feed dog right there to have something to go off of. So I'll just go ahead and put my fabric under my needle and slowly close my feed dog. Looks good to me. Everything's good and set. Foot's on the pedal, running this line straight to the side of my feed dog. I don't need to push it. I don't need to pull it. It will, the gears on the bottom will grab it and pull it for me. I simply just need to feed it in there. So what I'm going to do there is about 5 stitches. And then what I'm going to do, I'll bring this up a shade, is there's this button on my machine that says reverse. I'm going to hold this lever down all the way and run this back to the start of my stitch. When I get to the start of my stitch, I let go, and this creates a back stitch, which will hold the thread into place to make a more sturdy stitch. So I've come down with my feed dog. I've rolled, I might have left that part off, I'm so sorry. I rolled the side knob on my machine to push the needle through the first
suture, and then I've run it forward, hit my reverse, run it backwards for a back stitch, and I'm going to run the whole thing through. And when I get to the end, it's going to be no different than the beginning, where when I get there, I'm going to go back up it and then forward again. Here we go. Running this line straight to the side of my feed dog. To me, that sounds like a belt-fed M240, or maybe M60 from NAM off the side of a Huey. To you, it might just sound like a sewing machine, but this is a video about sewing for men. All right, so I'm going to turn that knob towards me, always towards me, never away from me. That lifts the needle up. Lift that feed dog up, and I'm just going to give it a slight tug, and it might be a little resistant. Like right there, it starts resisting. All I'm going to do is go back to that knob and just a tiny bit, as I'm kind of giving it a little pull, just going to rotate it, and then you see it's stop walking up and giving way. And just like that, we have our first suture, first sew. And I'll just grab my scissors and cut off those extra bits. So now that I have my piece of fabric sewn across the top, making a small little hole, what I want to do is determine what side I want facing out, the right side out part of the case. For me, I want this one with the one stitch that I did, because I want to hide this original seam with this bag. So this is going to be the inside of the bag. And I'm going to make the inside of the bag face out. And I want a good 90-degree, all lined up. Yeah, fold, just like that. So this will be the inside of the bag. I have it facing out because we're going to stitch down and over and then pull it right side out when we're done. So we'll hide these stitches as well as these stitches. I'm going to take this over to my ironing board though and give it a quick iron so it stays just how I want it when I'm doing my sewing. All right, now that I have this all ironed flat, I'm ready to begin sewing again. And a question that I had when I originally started sewing with the sewing machine was, do I need to re-hook that bobbin every time I cut it? And the answer is no. It is still back here already threaded. So you don't do anything. After you've lifted these feed dogs and cut your string, you leave it just like this. Both strings should still be under the feed dog with this needle string going between the forks and under. But after you cut it, you're ready to sew again. So I'm going to take this fabric, I'm going to put it under, put the edge right there. I'm going to go to the side of my machine, and I'll zoom in so you can see this. Zoom in, maybe zoom a little more, bring it up so you can see the needle. I'm going to show you when I rotate that handle towards me, how I like to hold that thread back. I want to make sure my thread doesn't go back through my needle. Pull that out a little. I just want to show you how it goes through the initial punch. Oh, I'm so sorry. Lower your feed dogs before you begin. And I keep my foot off the sewing pedal until I'm ready to sew. And that's it. I push it in, I see where it's going to hit, and then I'm ready to give it a go. Finger on the trigger, excuse me, foot on the pedal. I'll zoom out, and we're just going to run this right through the machine. Same as before, I'm going to pull that reverse lever down, come back, release it, and ready to go. I I just noticed this camera is shaking a lot. I'm gonna try to hold the camera. If you're wondering how I adjusted the speed on my machine, it's just pressure with my foot. So I've rolled this down a little to keep my needle in the fabric. I'm gonna pull those feed dogs up and just turn it 90 degrees, just like that. Once I have it where I want it, go ahead and put those feed dogs back down, and I'm ready to keep on going. So as you see, it has no problem just pulling that fabric. I'm not pushing it in, I'm not pulling it. It just grabs it and goes. I've gone all the way to where I want to stop. I'm going to pull my reverse lever down, give it some back stitching, and I'm going to come forward again. And that's it. Come here, lift my needle up with the rotating thing, make sure it's out the fabric. Go back here, lift my feed dogs up, pull this out, no resistance, so I don't need to turn that little side thing. And that's it, that's my back stitch. There's my thread, I'll cut that thread, and it goes all the way to the very top. And I'll cut that thread too. So now that I have all of my seams sewn, I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm just gonna cut off a little, not much, maybe halfway. I want a little bit of fabric left, and this will probably fray on the inside over time. That's fine. Seams are for another lesson. This is just to get you sewn and stitching for the first time, and yeah, I'll just give it a go. All right, have all that off, and now I can take my bag and flip it inside out. Get these corners real well. If the corners don't want to come out, you can also just take your scissors, put them up there and kind of push them out lightly. Would hate to punch a hole in the bottom of this bag, especially after just making it. Come over here, push that out. Nice. And the big test is, will it fit? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. I just realized that I should have cut it closer to kind of get them to go in there. But I'll still keep that. That'll do. This bag might be used for sunglasses. It might be used for other things. Its most important purpose is just to show a little first project to get you comfortable, get you confident on your new sewing machine, and get you sewing other things. This is it for the sewing. What I'm gonna do next is show you how to put the cord in the bag and make a drawstring. So if you want to click off, thank you for watching. If not, just hang tight. Well, actually, we'll just roll right into it. So I'm gonna open up my 550 cord. First thing I'm gonna do is find my lighter. I'm not sure what it is about lighters, how they always have a ability to disappear right when you need them. And then I'll just, like that, kind of stick it under there, melt it just a little, just so it doesn't fray like it was. Blowing it a bit. What I'm gonna do, I actually want a length to go around. Give some to tie. That should about do us. So I have enough to go there and back, and then I'll cut it here. In hindsight, probably should have done this before I sewed it into a pouch, but we'll make it work. All right, so I'll show you what I did here. I'm gonna do it on this side as well. Is along the edge is I've kind of just pulled it apart a little bit. I've ironed mine so well, it's kind of hard to pull apart. And then right by the seam, I'm just going to give it a small little slice if I can. You can also use a pocket knife if that's a little easier to cut it open with. But this is where we'll feed our 550 cord into. Open that right up, just like that. So you should have one on one side of the seam and one on the other side of the seam. Okay, and we're back. I got this second piece of cord, and I've decided to go ahead and change this from just a single side drawstring bag to a double-sided drawstring bag. And if you want to do it double like I am, just follow along. If you just want to do it single, this works too, and I'll show you that same method. Also, what I did was on the other side, we cut these two holes. On the other side, I cut one more hole. So if you're just going to do the single string, you're just going to take coat hanger and feed it all the way through. And if you're going to do it this double method, you're just going to do it halfway through. So I'll just go ahead and put this through like so. Get it to come out the other end. Take my piece of 550 cord and just put it in that little hook that I made. All right, and we are back. So for the drawstring method, we're putting them through one side and the other. If you saw during the fast forward, if you saw it, I accidentally put them both through the same side, so don't do that. And now we're just going to tie them off. I did get a little fraying on my rope when I was pulling them through. No big deal. Grab my lighter, give them another little melting, keep them from fraying again. And I'm just going to tie a couple little simple knots here, just around my finger. Make a hole, push them through the hole, pull it tight like that. And then I'll come over to this side and do that same little knot just around the finger, through the hole, pull them really tight like that. And just like that, you got your first sewing project done. A little drawstring bag. Now this will be for my sunglasses to keep them from getting dirty. And I realized while I was making them, I can also use this to clean them off. So I like that. You can make this as big or as small as you'd like for any item in the house. Also, you can make it as big as like a backpack and get creative and put little straps on here, or do the old drawstring bag method where they tie it off to the corners and then you cinch here and those strings are your backpack straps. But it's mostly just to get you going, get you started, get you sewing, get you comfortable with your sewing machine. And that's it. Hope to see you again in the next episode. Peace.